place of so المعنى تبع المخارج بالإنجليزي is the place of emitting the letter when pronouncing it that differentiates that specific letter from other letters. And like easier words, you could say the place where the sound of the letter comes from when you pronounce it or when you say the letter, where that sound comes from is the makharaj. And it's different for each letter. And because it's different, that's why we have different sounding letters, is because of the different makharaj. And then al-harf. So the harf is a sound that relies on a specific or approximate articulation point. فيعني كل حرف has a different makhraj, and that's what makes the different sounds. Like for example, if ha and qaf came from the same makhraj or from the same point, then it would not have any different sound. The difference in the makhraj is what makes a different sound. And then there's different types of makharij or articulation points. There's specific and approximate. Specific means like very, like it's special, like this thing. So specific is very special, whereas approximate is like not as much, like it's more general. For specific, it is that which relies on a specific place from the areas of the throat, the tongue, or the two lips. So the articulation points are three. We have the throat, the halq, the tongue, the lisan, or the two lips, الشفتين. The specific ones is when it relies on those three articulation points or the three makharij. And then the approximate is where it does not really rely on a specific place in those makharij. And those articulation points are applied to the three lengthened letters, so the med letters, so الحروف المد, that come from the empty space in the mouth and throat. Okay. So how to know the articulation point of a letter? So كيف حنعرف شو المخرج تبع الحرف? So the first way we can do that is by saying. So the first way we can do that is by saying the letter without any vowel sound. So with a sukun. So let's say we say the letter qaf, qaf, qaf. You can tell that it comes from the throat, right? From the halq area. Qaf, qaf. And then the next way we can do is precede the non-vowel letter with a hamza with any vowel sound you choose on the hamza. So you put a hamza in front of the qaf, right? But you can pick anything. So you say aq, aq. You can hear that the qaf comes from the halq, aq. And then the third way is pronounce the letter and hear the sound. When the sound is cut off, that is the articulation point being used. So let's pronounce the letter. Qa, qa, qi, qu, qa. You can hear it's from the halq. Okay. And then you can use these ways just to practice. Like usually with students, we do this to practice with them. As you say the letter without any sukun, or without any vowel sound. And then you do it by you put a hamza in front of the letter, and then you let them pronounce it. And then you also pronounce the letter one more time to hear the sound. And when it's cut off, when you cut the sound, you cut it, you can hear where it's from. And then the major articulation points. So there's there's a few major articulation points. So أول واحد is the empty space in the throat and the mouth. So this is between the halq and the thim. There's this empty space, and that's one of the makharij. So it has in it one articulation point for the 3 lengthened letters, or for the 3 med huruf al-mad. And then the throat, which is the halq, it has 3 articulation points for 6 different letters, which are pronounced from the deepest. Sorry, give me 1 second. And then the throat, which is the halq, has 3 articulation points for 6 different letters, which are pronounced from the deepest, middle, and closest part of the throat. So there will be a picture here. So you have 3 different points in the throat. There's going to be the deepest, in the middle, and the closest. So this is the deepest, this is the middle, and this is the closest, right? And then because there's 6 letters of ibhad, we'll see which letters come from where in the halq. And then the tongue, or the lisan, has 10 articulation points for 18 different letters. So there's 10 different points on the lisan. There's going to be 10 different points here, right? On the lisan, that corresponds to 18 different letters, or 18 different huruf, 18 huruf. And then the lips has 2 articulation points for 4 letters. So these are the lips here. And there's going to be 2 articulation points for arba huruf, for 4 different huruf. And then the last one is the nose, al-anf, but we kind of refer to it as the khayshum, is the whole of the nose towards the inside of the mouth. So somewhere here, there is 1 articulation point, that of the ghanna. So the ghanna sound comes from the khayshum, or from the nose. And it's like the nose and the mouth, the top of the mouth also. And then here's a picture that we can refer to. So over here, there it's labeled. So here is al-hank al-a'la, which is the roof of the mouth. And then al-jawf, which is the empty space in the mouth and throat. That's the akhtar here. And then al-lisan, which is the tongue. Al-halq, which is the throat. Al-shifatan, which is the 2 lips. And al-hank al-a'la, which is the roof of the mouth. But it's there's al-muntaqa al-rakhwa and then al-qasiya. So there's the hard palate and the soft palate. So this side is harder, like the harder side of your mouth, and this side is the softer side. And we'll see the differences in the pronunciation with the difference in softness of the top of the mouth. So this is just the diagram, so you could see the different parts of the mouth, and why each letter has a different sound. So أول شيء is the jawf. So the empty space in the mouth and throat is a place and an articulation point at the same time. So each med letter is accompanied by the appropriate mouth or jaw movement, opening of the mouth with the alif, circling of the lips for al-waw, like ooh, wow, you make a circle with your lips, and a retraction of the jaw for al-ya. When you do ya, you push your jaw backwards, kind of, right? Say the letter ya out loud, you go ya. Your jaw moves back. So the 3 med letters originate from this non-specific area. So alif, waw, and ya come from al-jawf. Then the alif with a sukoon preceded by a letter with a fatha. So preceded, this word right here, preceded, means comes before. Okay, so the alif with the sukoon preceded by a letter with a fatha. So if the alif has a sukoon, and then the letter before it has a fatha on it, that's one of the letters. And then the waw with the sukoon preceded by a letter with a dhamma. So a waw, the sukoon, preceded by a letter with a dhamma. And then the ya with the sukoon preceded by a letter with a kasra. So preceded by a letter with a kasra. These three med letters do not have a specific space that they finish. This is in contrast to all the other letters, for those letters finish when the airflow ends. So these three are specific cases where they don't have a specific part of the jawf that like they finish the sound fully. So these are special cases, is these three. And then, so the throat letters or letters of the harf are al-alif, al-waw, and al-ya. So the alif it is emitted from these two empty spaces, and the mouth takes on a specific shape. The tongue is in its normal position at the lower part of the mouth, and there is an opening of the mouth with the alif. Alif. See, here's a picture of how your mouth will look when you pronounce al-alif al-maddiya. So your tongue is pushed down. There's some space here between your lips, and the sound starts by the halq and it travels out. Then we have al-waw. It is also emitted from the two empty spaces. The posterior portion of the tongue rises a bit, and the two lips protrude forward in a circular form. A space is left between the two lips for the sound to pass through. So these words are kind of hard, but if you look at this picture, that's kind of what it means. So this is a photo of al-waw al-maddiya. So it was saying the posterior portion of the tongue, which means the back portion of the tongue. So this is the posterior, it goes up more. See how with the alif, it's flat over here. It's pretty flat. With the waw, it goes up in the back. So that's where you get the differences in letters. And then also you can see here, the lips are a circle. Like here, let me make this red. The lips are a circle. And here also, the lips make a circular form. But the sound originates from the halq again, and you can see it travels outside. And then al-ya. Al-ya, so it is also pronounced from the two empty spaces in the throat and mouth, but with slight retraction of the jaw. The middle of the tongue rises up slightly when pronouncing it. Again, the words are a little bit hard, so I'm going to show you a picture. So al-ya al-maddiya, this is how it's going to look. So you see here how for the waw, the back of the tongue went up. Here, the middle of the tongue goes up. The middle of the tongue goes up. And there's still empty space. So for all of these letters, there's empty space here, right? For all of these letters, there's empty space. The empty space here. And a lot of empty space here for the alif. So the major differences between all of these is the rising of the tongue. For alif, the tongue does not really rise at all. It's pretty flat for the whole thing. For the waw, the back of the tongue goes up. And then for the ya, the middle of the tongue goes up. And then also the shape of the lips as well. For the alif, the lips stay pretty normal. They're not circular at all. For the wow, you change the shape of the lips to be circular, زي دائرة يعني. And then for the ya, the lips are also the same shape pretty much. And all of them start at the halq and come out of the mouth. Okay. And then here's just a picture of the mouth from the bottom of the mouth with the teeth and everything. So here we have the gums, اللثة, and then the pre-palate area or مقدم الحلق, and then hard palate, which is الحنك العظمي, and then the soft palate, الحنك اللحمي, because العظمي comes from the word bones, so that's why it's the hard palate. And then اللحمي comes from like the meat or the muscle, so that's why it's the soft palate. And then اللحى, which is the uvula. So the different textures or feelings in the mouth is what makes different sounds, because each part of the mouth has a different feeling to it, so they will all produce different sounds. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about is the halq. Yes, قبل الحلق, does anyone have any questions? في أي سؤال؟
Dr. Asma, assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام.
If we can ask them each one to repeat at least one letter or something, so we can make sure that they understood it and they can articulate it to the young students.
نعم. Okay. Yeah, because this lesson is a little bit heavier. I want to make sure everyone knows it. So في حد can someone tell me about the letter alif? Alif maddiya. So we learned about 3 mad letters. الحروف المد. We have alif, waw, and ya. And then we talked about the articulation of how it moves in the mouth. Can someone tell me one more time or re-explain one of the 3 letters?
السلام عليكم.
Salam.
The alif, it is emitted from this 2 empty space, and the mouth talks on a specified shape. The tongue is in it is normal mad.
Yeah, can you give me an explanation in your words يعني? أنتي فهمتي منها. Oh, like just describe the picture يعني.
معلش again miss I didn't hear you.
Yeah, ممكن تفهمينا شو أنتي like what you learned from the lesson. تقدري تنظري على diagram هاي الصورة هاي and just tell me في الكلام تبعك شو فهمت.
There is a letter mad. We take it. It's from the jaw. Jaw is a space. يعني it's not يعني مش عارفة أحكيها بالإنجليش. It's
تقدري بالعربية إذا بدك.
أوكي. عندنا في اللغة حروف مادية ألف وواو وياء. الحروف المادية تخرج من الجوف، وهو مخرج غير محقق، وهو عبارة عن جريان الصوت في الفم إلى الخارج. مدة المد، إذا كان المد طبيعي حركتين، وهي بالأصل هي حروف ساكنة. المد هو حرف ساكن بيسبقه حروف، يعني هي الحروف العادية. فإنه بس يعني إنه هي يعني من مدها، ف وهي هيك يعني
نعم.
الحروف المادية.
Can I answer, Miss أسماء?
نعم، شكرا.
Can I answer?
نعم نعم.
Yeah. This مخرج, this articulation point of الجوف, the oral and throat cavity. The الجوف, the definition of الجوف is empty space in the mouth and throat. الجوف is an approximate measure area, and it is an articulation point in at the same time. The three mad letters come from الجوف. The first picture, the articulation point of alif mad. When we pronounce alif mad, we opening of the mouth with the letter alif, while the tongue is in a position of rest. This is the first picture.
شكرا.
عفوا.
في حد بده يسوي حرف الواو أو الياء؟
أيوة مس مع حضرتك.
نعم.
The wow with a سكون preceded by ضمة. This is wow mad. يعني نخرج يعني exit from the empty space of the space اللي هو الجوف والحلق، مش عارفة أجيبها إنجليزي إيه and throat.
نعم. ده empty space يعني.
the empty space of اللي هو أنا عايزة أقول اللي هو الهواء اللي هو بيخرج من الجوف والحلق يبقى إيه؟
أوكي. نعم.
of the mouth and throat.
نعم.
تمام كده صح ولا في حاجة تاني؟
Yeah, it's from the two empty spaces. حكيتي عن the tongue itself, the لسان. شو صار مع اللسان؟
بسم الله. أيوة التانج بيبقى يعني بيبقى slightly elevated from the يعني إيه اللي هو الجزء الأخير ده، يعني نقول هو بسم الله. التانج rises مش عارفة أقول مش عارفة أقول إن الجزء الأخير بيبقى مرفوع يعني.
يعني the back part of the tongue or posterior.
The back of the tongue slightly elevated صح؟
نعم.
تمام.
جزاك الله خيرا. حد بده يعمل الياء المادية؟
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
نقول letter ياء مد exist from the jaw, the throat of the image of the throat and the mouth. It be ياء مد when it سكون has سكون and preceded by letter has كسرة. The shape of the mouth, the lips normal became normal, and the middle of the tongue rises from the middle.
Yes,
And
thank you so much.
sound comes from the jaw.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Now we're gonna go on to the حلق. Okay. So شوفوا هاي الصورة. You can see there's the 6 أحرف تبع الإظهار. We have Hamza Ha is in the deepest part of the حلق. We have Ain and Ha is in the middle. And Ghain and Kha is at the top part of the حلق. Right. So that's why we have different sounds for each of the letters. But if you think about it, Hamza and Ha have a very similar sound to them. Ain and Ha also do, and Ghain and Kha do too. And that's because of the different points in the halq that they come from. And then there's different parts of the lisan as well. We have aqsa lisan, which is the deepest part of the tongue, and it's even farther up than the picture shows. We have dhahr al-lisan, which is the top of the tongue, which is around here. We have tarf al-lisan, which is the tip of the tongue. So there's a difference between dhahr and tarf. Tarf is the very tip of the tongue, that when you touch your teeth, that's the tarf of al-lisan. And then dhahr al-lisan is the top of the tongue, looks like in the front part. And then we have hafat al-lisan, which is the sides of the tongue. That's the sides. And then we have wast al-lisan, which is middle of the tongue. And we're going to use all these different parts of the tongue for the next few letters, inshallah. Okay. So the deepest part of the tongue, or aqsa al-lisan, we have the letter qaf. Okay, so تخرج من أقصى اللسان مع ما يحاذيه من الحنك اللحمي. And then this letter is pronounced from the deepest part of the tongue and that which lies opposite to it of the soft palate. So you can see in this picture here how the letter qaf is pronounced. You can see the back of the tongue touches the soft palate of the top of the mouth. So this is the soft part of the mouth. This is the hard part. And this is aqsa al-lisan. Aqsa al-lisan touches the soft part of the mouth. So if you guys say qaf, qaf, letter qaf, when you say it yourself, you can see that your tongue touches qaf, the back of the tongue touches that back of the mouth. And then the next letter we have is kaf. Okay. Kaf. And it is articulated from the deepest part of the tongue and that which lies opposite to it of the roof of the mouth, of the soft tissue and bony palate. So for the letter kaf, it's actually between two parts. It's between the hard and the soft part of the top of the mouth. And the kaf is under the qaf a little bit, meaning closer to the mouth and farther from the throat in the qaf. So the letter qaf is kind of close to the halq. So the letter qaf, you can see it's closer to the halq, whereas the letter kaf is farther away. And so that's why you have different sounds that come out when you do the different letters, is because see how aqsa al-lisan is, it's still aqsa al-lisan, but it's touching both the soft and the hard part of the top of the mouth, and it's farther away from the halq. So that's why we get different sounds. And then here's just some pictures of ya and sheen and jim. Oh, can you please go on mute? Okay. So there's different parts of the tongue, and they make different sounds. So here, ya, sheen, and jim, they're different parts of the tongue, but they're all part of the harder part of the mouth. They come near that part. And they're all wast al-lisan, I think. Yeah. It's all like the middle front portion of the lisan. So that's why al-ya and sheen and jim have similar sounds. And then we have some pictures of the mouth. So al-hank al-a'la and al-hank al-asfal. So that's the different parts of the mouth and the teeth. And then they're labeled by color for the different portions that they are. So the green are the central incisors, or athanaya, and then the red are the lateral incisors, or araba'iyat. The purple are the canines, or anyab, and then the light blue are the premolars, or al-dawahib, and then the yellow are the molars, or al-tawahin, and the orange are the wisdom teeth, or an-nawahib. So these different teeth, when your tongue touches the different teeth, it makes different sounds because each tooth is shaped differently. Here we have a dad. When you say la, which teeth does the tongue touch? It touches the front part of the teeth, right? Allah. So it touches the top part, like somewhere around here. Allah. And the tongue is also relaxed. It doesn't touch the top part. It's pushed down a little bit. Allah. But there's not that much empty space. The jawf is not that much of as big of a space. For example, the lam, we touch the roof of the mouth at the hard part, right? And there's a large amount of empty space or jawf here. And this is the tip or the top of the tongue. So usually what I like to do is have everyone pronounce the letters themselves so that they can feel where exactly it's coming from, not just look at it or just learn about it. So if you guys pronounce lam, go you'll feel that the lam touches the hard part of the mouth, and the tongue is spread out, kind of, so that there is this empty space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth for the rest of it. And then here's another picture of the dad. So here it shows which teeth it's touching. So when you pronounce dad, it touches these teeth right here. But it touches those. It's almost, there's like 6 teeth or something, or 8 teeth that it touches. Okay. So that's the end of this lesson. We'll have Makharij part 2 inshallah next time. But I want someone to give me like a review of the lesson and what they learned. Head.
Assalamu alaikum, Miss. Can I explain in general?
Now, let me go back.
Yes, so we have spoken about makharaj, and we said that the makharaj is the place where the sound of the letter comes from. And then to know the articulation point of the letter, we put hamza at the beginning of the letter. and make sukun on it, on the letter, as in qaf, for example, we say aqo. And then we spoke about the major articulation points. The first, we spoke about jawf, which is the empty space in the throat and mouth, where we pronounce the mid letters. And these mid letters, for example, we have 3 mid letters, alif, sakina, preceded by fatha, and ya sakina preceded by kasra, and waw sakin preceded by dhamma. And then we have the throat, which is the articulation point of 4 letters. We have 3 parts. The deepest part we pronounce it comes the sound of hamza and ha, and then from the middle part comes the sound of ayn and ha, and then the closest part of the throat comes the sound of ghayn and kha. Then we spoke about the tongue, and we said we have different letters. Yes, we have 10 articulation points from 18 letters, okay, for 18 letters, I mean. So from the back, the deepest part of the tongue, or the back of the tongue, we have 2 letters, qaf and kaf. And qaf, it comes from when the tongue touches the soft palate, and kaf, the tongue touches the hard upper palate. And then we spoke from the middle part of the tongue comes the sound of ya, shin, and jim. And then we said we have bod, and from the bod, I think, Miss, you said from the front, but not to, can't we say bod comes from the 2 sides of the tongue with the upper, I mean, we use the back of the tongue, no? I think.
Yeah. Here, I'll
Yeah.
put a picture of bot. Right here.
Okay. And then we said we pronounce lam. I mean, the tip of the tongue touches the roof of the dam. That's it. Thank you.
شكرا. جزاك الله خيرا.
وإياك، شكرا لك.
في حد تاني بده just give a recap of the lesson عن الدرس يعني. نعم.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Today our lesson was about المخارج, the articulation point. Okay. The articulation point, we have the major articulation points. It's the empty space in the mouth and throat. Okay. We have the major are the throat and the tongue and the lips and the nose. The first one we will review is the al-jawf. Al-jawf, it's empty space in the mouth and throat, and it's a place which the articulation point, each mad, every we have 3 letters comes from al-jawf. They are alif and waw and ya. the second articulation point is الحلق. We have 3 minor articulation point in الحلق, which is أدنى الحلق, وسط الحلق, أقصى الحلق. This major point pronounced 3 letters, 6 letters, which are همز هاء عين حاء غين ألف همز هاء عين حاء غين خاء. Okay, and the third articulation point is اللسان, the tongue, and we have so many letters comes out from this articulation point. Okay, like القاف and الكاف and ya, shin, jim. But the tongue takes a different shape when we get out any of these sounds. Like when you want to say a letter qaf, the tongue takes a shape as like when it's 1 minute because I am memorized from my mind. Okay, I don't use any paper. Okay. Okay, al-qaf. This letter pronounced from the deepest part of the tongue. And al-kaf, and the tongue like opposite to the soft palate. Okay. But the kaf, it's articulated from the deepest part of the tongue. And also it's closest to kaf and qaf, but there is a difference between qaf and kaf and qaf. I think it's complicated or it's simple. Can you understand what I am telling? Okay. Letter kaf comes out when the tongue touches ثانية واحدة. touches the soft palate and also the hard palate together. Okay. I think I don't want to be more complicated. I hope my lesson is simple until this moment.
Yes.
Should I continue or stop until this moment?
You can continue.
Okay. And letter lam, the tongue shape is different because the tongue touches the teeth from the upper jaw, so it touches the 2 teeth inside. They are called ثنايا, the central incisors.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, I hope my lesson is good until this moment. I hope I explained well.
Yes, جيدا ما شاء الله. Very good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
Do you want to continue or خلاص?
No, خلاص, enough until this moment.
Okay. جزاك الله خيرا. في حد تاني بده يشارك معنا؟
هو أنا شاركت مرة، ممكن أعمل تلخيص ولا خلاص؟ تمام. This lesson talk about articulation points. المخرج هو the place of emitting the letter when pronouncing it that differentiates that specific letters from other letters. We have 5 major articulation points: the empty space in the mouth and throat, the throat, the tongue, the lips, and the nose. The empty space of the empty space in the mouth and throat, it's a place of articulation points of مد حروف المد، يعني نقول ايه مد letters ألف واو and ياء. the ألف with a سكون preceded by the letter with فتحة. the واو with a سكون preceded by a letter with ضمة. the ياء with a سكون preceded by a letter with كسرة. the throat letters همز وهاء، عين حاء، غين خاء. the tongue articulation points قاف from the deepest part of the tongue with the and that which opposite، اللي هو عايزة أقول مع ما يحاذيه من الحنك الأعلى، اللي هو opposite to the soft palate. ماشي. الكاف كاف letters articulate from the deepest part of the tongue and that which lies opposite to it of the roof of the mouth of the soft palate, hard palate. From the middle of tongue 3 letters ياء شين and جيم. برضو بعد كده ايه الضاد، فاضل ايه الضاد واللام صح؟
ضاد.
ضاد يعني the tongue مش عارفة أقولها، يعني عايزة يلمس يعني مع الأضراس كده أقول إيه.
And just that it's the ضاد, the tongue is flat, and then the tip of the tongue is touching the teeth.
تمام. اللام letters the tip of the tongue touches the اللي هو the hard part of the tongue صح؟
Yes.
خلاص تمام.
جزاك الله خيرا.
جزاك الله.
في أي سؤال على أي شيء شرحته اليوم، أو إذا في حد بده يشارك أي شيء؟ زينب.
Miss,
yes.
please, would you like to repeat the pronunciation of the letter ضاد? I didn't understand what he said. Yeah, thank you.
الضاد. So for the letter ضاد, حرف الضاد. So when you actually like pronounce it, so I want you guys to say ض. When you feel your tongue, where do you feel it? It's at the roof of the hard part of the mouth, right? The bony part of the mouth, right here. The bony palate. It's touching this bony palate right here. So it's not touching the actual teeth. It's like the very, very top edge where the teeth almost start, and then but it's still the hard palate. So and then your tongue is spread, and the sides of the tongue are touching the side teeth of and the tongue itself is flat, but the jawf area here, you see the jawf, this jawf area is very, very small, very small, almost like the back of the tongue, like أقصى اللسان is almost going to touch the back of the mouth. But it doesn't. There's still a jawf. There's still an area between. If you look at the letter lam, this jawf is very big. Like there's a lot of space. Your tongue is almost like a cup shape. Like it's almost rounded. Like there's a round shape to it. Whereas for the dad, it's pretty flat here. It's very flat and very close to the top of the mouth. And it touches the hard part of the mouth. So it touches the hard part. So look, and your tongue is very flat, and the sides of the mouth of the tongue are gonna almost touch the teeth on the side. So that's the main difference between the ba and the lam, is that this jawf area is different for the lam and the da, but they both touch very similar area, which is right here, which is between the teeth and the hard part of the mouth. So does that make a little bit more sense?
Are you sure? Are you sick? Can you eat something? Do you feel better?
Does that make sense, Emma?
Yes, Miss. Thank you. So you mean, I saw that in this image we have a space. It means we left a bit space between the tongue and the upper palate.
Yes.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that space.
We don't stick we don't stick the back of the tongue with the teeth.
The back of the tongue does not.
Yeah.
No, the back of the tongue, which is here. This is the back of the tongue right here. That doesn't touch the teeth. That almost touches the back of the mouth, but it doesn't actually touch. But it's very close to it. But the sides of the tongue, يعني
حافة.
Yeah, حافة اللسان do almost touch the teeth on the side. Yes, like pronounce it, like when you say the letter la yourself, like la, you can feel the sides of your tongue touching the teeth. La. It almost touches the teeth on the sides. But the back of the tongue does not. No, it does not touch the teeth.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. في حاجة تاني؟
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
معلش أنا كنت عايزة أعرف بس هو إحنا المفروض إن إحنا هنشرح للطالب الأعجمي المخارج دي إمتى، أو يعني هو يعني هي مش كده هتبقى صعبة عليه ولا إيه؟ هو لازم نشرح له المخارج؟
يعني we already finished the lessons من قبل, like the easier lessons of just like أحكام الميم والنون الساكنة. So now we're getting more in depth with the مخارج. بس يعني if you want to continue teaching them, usually when you teach them, you spend more time on the أحكام النون والميم الساكنة, and you keep teaching them that. Once they understand that, then you can teach them where that actually comes from with the makharij. But it's difficult, but it's not impossible يعني, for them to understand. It's good. It's instead of them memorizing it, like the ahkam and nun wal mim sakina, it's better for them to just understand so that they know where the sounds of the letters come from. It's not something that you teach like very often, yani. It's more like for a background so that they can understand like like the huruf have different sounds. Okay, inshallah. Any more questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Dr. Asmاء, if you don't mind, I would like to add or to rephrase something.
Yeah.
So in Arabic, let's say in Arabic and English, so if you don't hit hard the letter Jim, you're going to make it close to Sheen so gonna be شامي دمشقي جيم, which is not good. So you need to hit hard the roof or the ceiling of the mouth to get the letter جيم. So you say الجزاء, الجميل. If you don't hit hard and you make it settle and you make it still, you're gonna move to letter شين. You're gonna say الجميل, which is wrong. You have to say الجميل. So I would like to make brothers and sisters note that you have to hit hard the letter جيم to get the sound of جيم. Otherwise, if you extend it to the letter شين next to it, you will get the letter الجميل, which is not good. Second, letter ضاد, you have to extend it to stretch your tongue to the letter لام. That's why we have the صفة, the characteristic of استطالة. So basically, you try to parallel your edge of your tongue to the back molar teeth, and you extend it and stretch it to the letter لام, الاستطالة. So please note that. Otherwise, you're gonna get letter دال instead. You're gonna say الضالين. And that's why when we stop in it, السماوات والأرض, if you don't get it extended to the letter لام, then you're gonna make it دال. You're gonna say السماوات والأرض. So I hope it's clear إن شاء الله. Let me say in Arabic. بصوا يا أخواتي، لو أنت ما جبتيش اللتر الجيم كويس وضغطت عليه شوية أكتر وخليت لسانك يثبت عنده، هيروح للتر الشين، والشين هيعمل لك ايه بقى؟ مش يعمل لك جيم ولا شين، هيعمل لك حرف بين الجيم والشين اسمه الجيم الشاميه، وهي مش حلوه. الجميل هيقول لك جميل جا، احنا مش عايزين اللتر ده، عايزين جميل جا. ولو انت حاولتي تخبطي تهت يعني تضغطي على الاضراس الاخرويه في الفم، هيجي لك حرف الضاد مش هيكون رخو، مش هيكون سوفت، فمش هتضطري تتقلقليه، هيبقى من حروف القلقله. كمان مش هتعمليه استطاله لمخرج اللام اللي في اخر طرف اللسان. فدول الحرفين اللي بنغلط فيهم يعني. شكرا. I like to note too اللتر الضاء والثاء والذال بتطلع لسانك اكتر مع الضاء، والذال اقل سنه، والثاء اقل فاكثر. ضاء you have to put your tongue to the upper incisors more than ذال and more than ثاء. So if you have the tip of the tongue, you divide into three parts. Three of them means the whole tip for the letter ضاء, and then 2/3 of the tip of the tongue for the letter ذال, and then 1/3 only for the letter ثاء. يعني ثلث طرف اللسان للثاء، وتلتين طرف اللسان للذال، وثلاثة أثلاث طرف اللسان، يعني طرف اللسان كله يعني للضاء، فالضاء أكثر امتدادا شوي. شكرا.
شكرا. I think the حصة خلص. عليكم السلام. يلا إذا ما في شيء سؤال I think خلصنا.
So what's their homework, Sister أسماء?
The homework, I would say do the makharij when pronounce each letter and feel where each letter is coming from in your mouth, so that we're going to have another lesson about makharij part 2 inshallah next time. So we're going to talk more about different letters and stuff. So just practice feeling where the different letters come from inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay. السلام.
جزاكم الله خير، وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. كما قالت الدكتورة أسماء يا أخواتي، إن نبدأ الأولاد بحرف الحاجة اللي تقدروا يمسكوها، اللي هي النون الساكنة والتنوين والمدود. وبعدين المخارج دي اخر حاجه خالص لانها حاجه وصفيه شويه، وهم حرفين بس اللي بنغلط فيهم، حرف الجيم وحرف الضاد. واذا ما خرجش لسانه في الثاء والظاء والذال، اذا ودي اهم وده اسهل كتير. ف ده اخر درس خالص. في صفتين مهمين اللي هم التفخيم والترقيق كما نعرف، والقلقله، فدول مهمين شويه. وكل شويه بعت للطالب صور اللسان وكده، او بعت له فيديوهات حتى يفهمها اذا كان متقدم. يعني هو مخرج الحروف للمتقدمين شويه، ولا نكاد نخطئ فيها الا في حرف بس والضاد والجيم، ولو واحد يعني بيغلط في حرف الثاء والذال والظاء، ما بنشوفش حد غلط فيهم يعني. الا بعض النساء ممكن تاخد الكاف صعبه شويه، بمعنى انها مش عميقه، القاف مش عميقه تعملها ناحيه الكاف، بس ما اظنهاش في الرجال يعني. في بعض النساء بسمعها وانا ما شفتهاش في رجل يعني، ده خبرتي، لكن قد يوجد، الله اعلم. حرف القاف ما بيعملوش بعمق شويه، بيقول كانه كاف. القمر ايه يا ابن القمر دي؟ القمر، القمر بالقاف. فالقاف عميقه شويه لا شك. هما الاثنين حرفين لهويين، اللي بيقولوا عليهم لهوي، حرفين لهويين. واحده اقصى شويه اللي هي القاف، عند ناحيه حرف الخاء والغين، والكاف بقى ارفع شويه، وكمان التفخيم والترقيق بتاعهم بيكون واضح. فالقاف لو سمحتوا تعملوها اعمق شويه. القمر، القمر. حتى الآلات الحديثة اللي اخترعت قالت إن المصريين بيغلطوا في القاف. حتى القراء الكبار المشاوي والباسط وكل ده بيقول لك القاف، حتى كنا بندرس نقول حرف شائق شائق. بيغلطوا في القاف كتير، ما بيعملوهاش بعمق، مش العمق الكافي اللي وصفه به الخليل بن أحمد الفراهيدي وسيبويه والفراء وغيرهم. ما بيعملوهاش بالعمق الكافي. فلو سمحتوا عمقوا القاف شوية، خاصة النساء. طيب الضاد، طبعا الضاد كلنا بنعملها دال للأسف، دال المفخمة، وده غلط شديد. فلازم مخرج والاستطالة. لولا الاستطالة، العلماء قالوا لولا الاستطالة كانت الضاد دالا. حتى ابن الجزر قالها في المتن بتاعه، والضاد باستطالة، هو قدمها أول حاجة، والضاد باستطالة ومخرج. مع ان الغريب هو المفروض نقول مخرج الأول، والضاد بمخرج واستطالة. هو قالها بقى باستطالة ليه؟ للتنبيه على الاستطالة فيها. لو ما طولتش لسانك لغاية مخرج اللام، ما الضاد مش هيخرج معاك رخوة، وبالتالي هتضطر تقلقليها. وعشان كده بشوف الطلبه كتير بيقلقلوها، ونقول ده مش حروف القلقله، هو عشان انت ما عملتهاش رخوه، انت عملتها شديده. الدال حرف شديد، اما الضاد حرف رخوه، بيمتد اللسان به. ممكن تقول الله الله طول النهار، لكن الدال قد خلاص انتهت، وقفت شديده، ملهاش متنفس يعني بعدها. طيب لو حد عنده سؤال ولا حاجه. طيب شكل ما حدش عنده سؤال.
يعني حضرتك بتقترح إن إحنا الأول لو هنبدأ معاهم بنبدأ عادي بأحكام النون الساكنة والتنوين والميم والكلام ده، وبعد كده نركز على الأخطاء، أو نشرح بعدها بقى المخارج يعني ممكن تبقى يعني بالتفصيل، بس في الطريق يعني وإحنا بنشرح نركز على الأخطاء بس بتاعة المخارج والصفات وكده، صح؟
بالظبط، صحيح. ليه السبب ايه؟ ان النون الساكنه والتنوين والمدود شيء يلاحظ، هتلاحظيه. اللي زي لك السماء، وقال لك والسماء والطارق، هتقول لا حبيبي والسماء والطارق، قلقل، وتقول علي صوتك كده، قلقل. زمان وانا بعلم كان الولاد بيترعب من القلقله، اخبط على ترابيزه قدامي، اهز ايدي، اقول ايوه ما هو طارقه، اتهز انا نفسي واقول له قلقل. الولاد حفظوا القلقله. فالحاجه الممسوكه الاول اللي هي السماء تمديها، فكده الولاد هيفهمها. كذلك الميم الساكنه، لما تقول له انت بس اضرب الحرف الايه، حرف النون، لما تقول مي يقول، هي ميم يا على طول، مي، كان بنت اسمها مي بالظبط، وبنت اسمها مي، خلاص انسى النون دي خالص. انت دخلت النون في الياء وانتهت، كانك دخلت كتاب في حقيبه. انت شايل دلوقتي حقيبه وليس شايل كتاب، محدش يقدر يقول لك تشيل ايه. فده الحاجه الممسوكه التهنجب اللي تقدر تمسكها وتقول الواد غلط هنا او ما غلطش هنا. اما وصف الحروف بيخرج منين؟ ده حاجه تانية خالص. في حاجه حلوه لو انت الطالب قدامك، انا بعملها صعبه شويه بس بضطر ادي لاولادي جوائز حتى عشان يعملوها لي كل يوم. في احيانا اعمله 5 مرات. امسك قلم كده بس اخلي اللباسه بتاعته والغطا بتاعه، وامشي القلم اللسان قلمي على حلقه ولسانه، اعرفه المخارج واضغط عليها فحفظوها بالترتيب كده تحفظها. من احسن الاشياء تعرفي بقى المخارج انت تجمعها في مجموعات اللي هي اسمها القاب الحروف. القاب الحروف اللي مثلا اللي حرفين اللهويان قاف والكاف، الحروف الشجريه الجيم والشين والياء، الحروف النطعيه التاء والدال والتاء، التاء التاء والدال والطاء، الحروف الاصليه الصاد والزاي والسين. ماشي. وهي عكس النطعيه بالظبط، النطعيه فوقها في نفس المكان، الاصليه تحت اللسان، يعني ما لازم ترفع لسانك طرف اللسان كده عشان اصلا تشوف منطقه الاصل. ف طبعا المخارج ده اخر حاجه خالص، مخارج والصفات اخر حاجه خالص، الا صفتين بس اللي هم التفخيم والترقيق اللي هو الاستعلاء والاستفال يعني. قولي معايا الصفات تاني ايه؟ القلقله.
القلقلة
دول.
والاستطالة بتاعة الضاد والحاجات دي بتهيألي برضه هي مهمة يعني.
يعني لو انا اقول لك انت محتاجهم المخارج 3 حاجات بس: الثاء والذال والظاء، دول المجموعه دول الحروف اللثويه. وعندك الطالب بيغلط في حرف الجيم يعملها شاميه، الجمال، الجمال، جاء نقول له لا جاء. وعندك بس الضاد بيعملها دال. بس دول لو انا اهتم بحاجه في المخارج هم ال3 دول: الضاد والجيم وحروف ال3 الثاء والذال والظاء، اخليه لازم يطلع لسانه فيه. الصفات عندك حاجتين بس: التفخيم والترقيق، دول الاثنين مع بعض حبايب كده، ده واحد نعتبرهم واحده، والقلقله، بس كده. لو انت علمتيه الحاجات دول من الصفات والمخارج كده انت الباب ده حلو عندك، لان الباقي حاجات وصفيه انت بتقعد بس تقولي وخلاص. تخرج الضاد من جانب اللسان مع اضراس اليسرى وتمتد الى وتستطيل لمخرج اللام، كلام فاضي في الاخر، يعني في الاخر وصف، يعني بتصفي مساله نظريه مش عمليه. هو انا هعمل له ايه في الحلق بتاعه لما اروح اجيب له حرف الهاء ولا كده؟ وتم طبعا لما يجي يختم كلمه بالهاء ما يجيبهاش كلمه الله، يجيب الهاء لان ساعات بياكلوها. واحد يقول ليلى يقول ليلى كده من غير الهاء. الهاء من الحروف اللي انها حرف مهتوت ضعيف، فساعات ما بينطقوش كويس، ما بيهتموش بيه في اخر، خاصه اذا عند مساله عند الوقف يكون تعب من الكلام، فما يجي يقف بيستريح، ففاكر انه عشان يستريح لازم ما ينطقش حرف الهاء. طيب
تمام.
يبقى بس بنقول خارج دي اخر حاجه خالص، ده اذا هو متقدم اصلا. بس هو فين الطالب المتقدم؟ انا مش شايف اي طالب متقدم خالص في الولاد الصغيرين في العاجم يعني. هو مين اللي بتصلي معاه الى ان يصل الى انه ما شاء الله عارف المخارج والصفات اللي هم اخر حاجه؟ هو كله يا دوبك الوقف والابتداء، يقف كويس وكده. فلا شك ان النون الساكنه والتنوين والغنن والحاجات دي لها اهم، والمدود. هو انت عارفه 80% من التجويد هو الميم الساكنه والتنوين والمدود، ده 80% احكام التجويد. 20% بقى يدور بين القلقله والتفخيم والترقيق، وباقي اللي هو لو واحد وقف على تاء مثلا رحمه ونعمه وشجره، لو وقف اصلا لو وقف بس هو مضطر يقف يعني. 80% من احكام التجويد كما تعرفي ان هي النون الساكنه والتنوين وثم المدود، بابين دول بس، البابين دول هم 80%.
تمام، جزاك الله خيرا.